Hi everyone, and on this very nice and dry afternoon here in Dublin, I thought I would give my response or my perspective for the ceasefire and various unhinged messages coming out of the White House in America. So, just for context, this basically started last week, where Trump started to send very unusual messages on his Truth Social platform to variously threatening and giving veiled ideas of annihilation to Iran if they didn't agree to a ceasefire. This is fairly standard for Trump. It's well documented that the man tends to walk away from problems that he causes, and when he can't, he just basically keeps threatening until the other side cave in. When it came to this situation, the messages started getting very surreal on Easter Sunday, where he started using expletives, and where he unusually issued the well-known religious phrase, "Praise be to Allah," on a holy day that is sacred to Christians. But that aside, a few hours later, he issued a demand to Iran to come to the table, making the indication that he was going to annihilate Iran if they didn't. This annihilation was very explicit, basically ramping up to saying that he would end the civilization. Now, aside from the fact that this is a very, very, very serious thing to be going and accusing, or the very serious threats to be using against others, it breaks several international and American laws with regards to the proper conduct of the president. Of course, nothing's going to happen because, as I mentioned in some of my other videos regarding politicians, the politicians in power in America, which are mostly the Republican Party, feel they kind of need Trump at the moment in order to remain in power. The keys to gaining power are not the keys to maintaining power. So, in this case, Trump is going to basically be let slip through the fingers of what is proper decorum, and allowed to get away with this. With this anyway, escalated until about a half an hour before his deadline, when all of a sudden, due to what he claims to be influence from Pakistan, Trump decided to call a 2-week ceasefire, just basically out of the blue. Most people maintain that this is him backing down, and I tend to agree with that. But as with a lot of things to do with Trump, there are people in his inner circle who've managed to make an awful lot of money out of predicting what he can and can't do. I've mentioned this to some of my colleagues in work today, and what I basically pointed out is it's basically the boy who called wolf, but with nuclear weapons. So in the story, the boy who called wolf, basically there's this young lad who keeps saying that a wolf has appeared on the slopes of the hill that he minds sheep with, and every time the local people come out to try to fight off the wolf, he claims that he have fought him off solo. Eventually a wolf does appear. He asks for help, and nobody steps up to help him. Now, how does this parallel to Trump? Well, basically Trump keeps threatening. And while we have to take those threats seriously, we also have to realise that in every single circumstance he has backed down. Eventually he won't back down. But we have to stop being so scared about through social posts that he issues in the middle of the night, because it's the man seems to be completely unhinged. I dislike making kind of commentary on political leaders of other countries. I try to relate basically what their actions are back to Irish history if I can. But in this case, I can't think of anything in Irish history that's even remotely close to this. From an Irish perspective, it's shocking that American people are still going along with this. At least 1/3 of the American population, maybe, well, 1/4 to 1/3 anyway, seem to be a-okay with what Trump is up to on all levels. And this stems back, I think, to the fact that they are not being hit directly by this, except for the price of oil, which has gone up dramatically across the world. Now, that's a video for another time, but for right now, my thoughts about these text messages and the ceasefire is that, yes, we need to be aware of what Trump is up to in the middle of the night when he's sending text messages, but we have to just take it with a grain of salt, because he basically doesn't follow through with them. Have a nice day.